Welcome, everybody, to Everyday Ethics. I'm just going to say a few things. One, we're streaming live on Twitch now. Two, we love super chats and super stickers, so please give if you can. And three, Persephone is pissed off. So we're going to turn it right over to the lovely Persephone and let her have at it.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, we got a submission from Mr. Deagle, uh, which is an article from Charles II, the title of which was "What is the Point of Woman?" Hi Nicole. Um, Mr. Deagle, I'm going to speak to you directly. I hope that you don't believe anything that's in this article because that's concerning to me. Um, so Mr. Two in this absolutely horrific garbage article makes a lot of extremely stupid claims. I am going to be sharing this um, so that everybody can read and point and laugh. Um, so um, this amazing man said that women are physically weaker than men, but since wealth generation depends more on thought than manual labor, this does not explain the productive gap between the sexes. Women's inferior mathematical, mechanical, and navigational abilities also fail to explain it. Whatever their cognitive deficiencies, fuck you. Women retain the basic capacity for reason, and this can overcome any intellectual limitation. I would like to ask Mr. Two, have you ever met a woman? Has any woman ever wanted to be in the room with you for long enough to have a conversation? Anyway, so here is one of the problems. So he says that women are inferior in mathematical and mechanical ability. This is empirically false. And
Okay.
I will be sharing a study done where it shows that a meta-analysis covering over 3 million people found that the average effect size for gender differences in math performance was minimal, extremely minimal. The modest male advantage in complex problem solving is largely explained by stereotype induced anxiety. So immediately, Mr. Two has made a factual error. That's empirically false, right? Then he goes on to say that women are really geniuses.
Can I say something real quickly?
Yes.
Because this was so funny to me. He says this, he's talking about women. He says this can be seen in their relative lack of interest in orgasm. Since they do not experience happiness, for them, orgasm differs from the rest of the sexual experience only in degree, whereas for men, it differs in kind. Okay, so we know this guy's never given a woman an orgasm, right? Can we
So
agree on that?
he has never given a woman an orgasm. He's also never been in a room long enough to understand women at all. And that possibly like maybe he's never had sex because I don't think any woman would let him near them because ew. Okay. So we'll get to the sex stuff, but first I just want to talk about this fucking brain trust. He says the number of noteworthy female thinkers across all society rounds to zero. Historically wrong. There were so many like notable female philosophers, Hypatia of Alexandria. How many females have contributed to science? Marie Curie, Rosalind Franklin, Ada Lovelace. Let's see who else. Philippa Foot, Virginia Woolf, Jane Austen. I invite this man to go and fuck himself. I'm sorry, you're a moron. Florence Nightingale, Madam C.J. Walker, Coco Chanel, Oprah Winfrey, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Bro, what women have you spoken to? Anyway, so he says that, women are weaker and stupider and wait, what does he say? Let's see. So Women are weaker, dumber, and lazier than men. Interesting. So anyway, men do have greater upper body strength. However, women have a profound and universal survival advantage. Women are better in verbal episodic memory tasks and processing speed. Women outperform men on sustained attention, inhibitory control, resisting temptation, delaying gratification, controlling emotional expression, face memory, and social cognition. They're also better at decision making under uncertainty. So, who is this man? That's what I want to know. Who is
Some
he?
some jackwagon.
I'm so angry. Like, I'm so mad. I'm so mad because he pops off at the mouth and he states these things as facts, and so much of it is empirically false.
Yeah. Is Mr. Deagle here? I want to know what he thought of this ridiculous article.
Yep, Mr. Deagle, please, if you're in the audience, just tell me that you don't fucking believe any of this, because I will be so disappointed in you. That's the God's honest truth. If you tell me that you believe a single word out of this garbage man's mouth, I'm gonna be disappointed. Because it he made like one sort of true claim, which is that women are physically weaker, which, like, yeah, kind of, but also everything else is dumb and stupid and false. Go and this is one of those things where you have to read this and go and fact check, because it's all wrong. It's all wrong. And even if you look at this from like a fucking capitalist perspective, okay, he says that women contribute to wealth creation or wealth production, but not because they are women. And I would like to submit that there are so many women who have created entirely new markets on the back of the fact that they are fucking women. CJ Walker was one of the first female millionaires, I think, in the world. So she built her empire specifically around like black women's hair, which men weren't fucking doing. And I would say that that is because she was a fucking woman. A man wouldn't have done that. So saying like, oh, well, if all women became men, then there would be more productivity in the world. No, there wouldn't, you numbnuts. Coco Chanel, are you telling me that all of these industries would exist if women were men? No? Okay, well then you're a moron. Thank you, Mr. Deagle. It goes beyond just collectivist and arbitrary. It's stupid, it's wrong, it's misogynistic, it's factually incorrect. And that man needs to be put on a watch list.
A watch list? What are you going to watch?
He seems like the kind of person who would he needs to be watched. That's all I'm saying. He also seems like the kind of person who would tell a woman, like, go make me a sandwich. Oh, I would love to see this person I would love to meet this man. I really would.
What's wrong with asking a woman to make you a sandwich?
No, if you say, hey, my love, will you go make me a sandwich? Then, pop off. But like, I would love to meet this man in person.
So if
I can almost guarantee, right?
So
if yeah, if you
if I say make me a sandwich, like that's bad.
If you're saying it as an insult, then yes.
There's not. If I'm just hungry. All right. Do you want to keep going on this, or do you want to tie this article into the sex stuff?
I do, but can I just say one more thing about Charles? Can I say one more thing about Charles?
Like
oof. So I mean this in the most serious way possible. He says that women are weaker than men. I could snap this man like a dry twig. I'm just saying. So Charles is a moron, and I'm now very angry. So thanks, Mr. Deagle. I appreciate being sent
So
this article.
what? Um.
Hmm.
So his view. I just want to say we came to talk about sex. His view of women and sex is so contrary to my personal experience. I mean, that's him.
Mm.
I thought he was younger than that.
Okay, but also I would like to say something to I would
But I
before
want to
we
say
can.
I want to talk about. Can I give my perspective here real quickly?
But wait, but that's going to be about the sex thing. I want to just address something that Mr. Deagle said, because he says it's true that men are more productive in absolute terms, but there are many women who are more productive than most men. Um, I'm going to say something potentially a bit controversial to any of the men who have children, um, who go out and be productive. I would like to see them maintain the same level of productiveness if their wives weren't looking after absolutely every single fucking thing in their life. That's all I'm going to say. There are so many men who have relied on women to dress them, feed them, raise their children. If men had to do all of that shit, they would be either as productive as women or less.
So, uh, I play the. It's funny we're talking about. We're going to talk about sex. So, I just got a notification. I play this game, Words with Friends, and
Yeah.
I just got a thing, and it said Jennifer K is waiting. Make your move.
Yeah, go make your move.
So no, okay. Um, I think
Hmm.
that's so. Sex, I think, is different for men and women. I think that's
Yeah,
obvious.
obviously.
But and you tell me if I'm wrong about this, but women seem to very much enjoy sex. I think that a big difference. All right, how much do I want to get into here? So when I was 18 years old, no, oh no, 19 years old. Friends and I, we went to a how do I put this, a massage parlor.
Happy
And
endings.
yeah, oh boy, yeah. But anyway, so I developed a habit from a young age when having sex with women. I always proceed because I ultimately don't care. I always would ask women or girls when I was younger after sex what I could have done better. I wanted to know. I wanted to improve how I could, satisfy women more. And the woman that I'm talking about, she must have been in her 30s, and I was probably 19. And what she told me is it takes women a longer time to get ready. Their bodies are different, whereas men, it's like,
15 minutes.
your men are ready to go like this. Women, it takes time. And what she told me was you need to slow down. This two fellow doesn't seem to understand that. It's a physiological difference between men and women that he might be referencing. It doesn't mean that women are less into orgasm than
So, the, yes, you are correct that it does take it does
Robert. I just
check.
want to say Robert is right. This we're necessarily speaking in generalities. This doesn't apply to everybody.
So there is another factor in this, right? So yes, it does take women longer to become ready, but another thing is that there are two types of desire, right? There's spontaneous desire and then there's reactive desire.
Okay.
So, spontaneous desire is what a lot of men experience. They see a sexy woman and they're like, "Ooh, I want to hit that." Whereas for women, they can experience spontaneous desire, and many often do, but more often than not, women experience reactive desire. So, that is if you are sitting on a couch with your husband and he starts like kissing your neck, then, then you experience reactive desire, and that can be misunderstood as women not wanting to fuck, but it's not true.
Okay.
This episode was doomed from the
No,
start,
it's
so
okay. No, it's
I'm
good.
not even.
It's an important. So Robert Nasir, Robert, I disagree with you. Robert says that generalizations are approximately useless in this regard, and I disagree. I do think that women do take longer, generally. I'd say most to get. I mean, you a sexy naked woman's there, and yeah, see, it's go time, but women, it takes them longer for their bodies generally to catch up. So if you're not taking your time to make sure everything is done correctly, you're not going to produce the desired result. So, Mr. Deagle says, why do you think some men are obsessed with the past relationships of women, sort of like Hank Reardon with Dagny? I think they are wrong, but I'm not sure about their motivation. Okay, there's a few things that I think can be mentioned in this regard. One, I think the influence of religion on the subject matter. I think that religion has taught that sex is a dirty thing, a bad thing, and I think that really corrupts a lot of thinking on the subject. Also, culturally, the idea of being manly, of being I'm the man, I'm the tough guy, I'm the alpha, whatever, I think impacts people, and it can be an insecurity thing where the guy is now comparing himself to a long list, perhaps, of past lovers, and he doesn't want that. But also, I think that there's an evolutionary component. And Persephone, you can look this up to find out if I'm correct. But when a woman gets pregnant, she knows who the mother is, right? We know who the mother is. There's no doubt about it. Men don't have that level of certainty. So, from a genetic perspective, from an evolutionary perspective of wanting to, pass on your genes, it would make sense to want to make sure that the woman is not out there, you know, spreading around, because then you don't know if you're actually the father. You don't know if you're devoting resources. This stuff doesn't have to be conscious, but I do think it's probably part of the equation. What do you think, Persephone, about my
I
three explanations?
I okay, so um there is a solid evolutionary component, but the research is more nuanced than the popular claim.
Okay.
So there is some evolutionary basis for that. Um, but I'm going to give two explanations. Well, I'm going to put my explanations for why men care into two camps. One is an acceptable reason to care, and the other is the really stupid reason.
Okay.
So, on the one hand, in the charitable explanation, it makes sense to care if the person that you are sleeping with has slept around a bunch, because that can show some level of low self worth, right?
That too. Yep.
So that is the charitable explanation. The other explanation, which is far more likely, is the fact that I apologize to any men who I offend. I'm not going to measure my words now. Um, there are a lot of men who spend a lot of time in really toxic online spaces, and they listen to these awful podcasts by dickheads like Andrew Tate and all of this manosphere garbage, right? And all of these terrible podcasts, these terrible like alpha male influencers teach them that a woman's only worth is her body, and if she's given her body to someone else, she's worthless, right? This is something that these influencers instill in men, and it's insidious because there is a pipeline where you start off with some basic Like, I would prefer to sleep with a virgin, and you start listening to these podcasts, and eventually you become this horrific incel asshole, right? Who treats women like property and who compares women to like a car or a lock that can be opened by multiple keys or fucking chewed gum. Okay? And so, charitable explanation is the evolutionary aspect and the fact that, a habit of sleeping around randomly can be an indicator of low self worth. But the less charitable and more, I think, common explanation is that m- too many men are influenced by this
Hold on one
idea.
second. Be right back.
I'm just
Keep
going to keep
talking.
talking. Yeah. So, too many men are influenced by this idea that women are somehow still property and that our value comes from our bodies, and that if we've given it to someone else, that we are somehow less worthy. And there's also this weird idea that, if a woman has sex with a bunch of men, that she gets like, she's ran through. And ew, disgusting. Fuck you. All of the men who believe that, just ugh. Um, and there is also an aspect of insecurity to it. So Enchantador says experience, practice makes perfect. A lot of guys are, some guys, are maybe insecure about their sexual performance. So they want a woman who's never had sex before, so that no matter how useless they are in the sack, that she is going to have her mind blown. Which, even if she is a virgin and you're like a two pump chump, she's not going to be fucking impressed anyway. Um, The only time it matters if your partner, man or woman, has slept around a bunch is if that is indicative of some kind of low self esteem. If you care that your partner has slept around before you because you are inexperienced and you worry that you're not going to be able to pleasure them, or God forbid, you're a man and you think that a woman's value is tied to her virginity, then seek professional help. Um, there are many affordable therapists in your area, probably.
I will say this, Persephone, that just to we're going to have to continue this discussion on Monday to really delve into it. But I will say that there is Roberts now has me. What's the word I'm looking for? Hesitant to speak in generalities, but I'm going to anyway. I think that there can be sort of a problem where women, a lot of women anyway, it's not sexy. Let me put it that way. It's not sexy for a guy to ask, "What do you want?" They kind of want the guy to just know what to do, right? But sometimes you have to ask. I mean, because like Robert's talking about, people are different, individuals are different. So you say, well, what do you like? What would you like me to do? But a woman told me one time, and I was talking on the phone when I was in prison. I was just having a conversation. She says, "No, no, no, no. That's no. You don't ever want to do that." And I just thought that's kind of crazy. Like you want people to read your mind. That's silly.
So, there's another aspect to this. Like, different women like different things.
Right.
Obviously, different men like different things. But there's another aspect to this.
I love this. Hold
Men,
on, we got $5 from Robert. Thank you, Robert. He quotes Persephone. If you think a woman's worth is tied to her virginity, seek professional help. But he quotes Persephone. Wise words, big topic, but very nice summary. Jim Valiant says Persephone is awesome. And Charles too is a schmuck.
yeah. Okay, but just coming back to this, like asking, what your partner wants.
Yes.
I partly blame women for this as well. Because there are a lot of women, if they are having sex with a dude, they won't tell him that he's doing something wrong, right? So if And this is like faking orgasms, right? If you fake an, which is obviously much more difficult for men, but there's a history of women faking orgasms to get the sex over with, right? If you're faking orgasms, you are harming yourself, you're harming your partner, and if you and your partner ever break up, you're harming your partner's future partners. Don't fake orgasms. Just tell your partner what they're doing wrong. Tell them what you want. Fucking grab their hand and move it if you must.
Yes. Nicole Engel says you have to speak up. You have to speak up,
Yes.
ladies. I agree that, yes, speak up, ladies.
But I
Speak
mean,
up.
this
And men
this
too, by the way. I mean, not just women, but men need to speak up. And no, don't fake O's. Don't fake anything. Nothing can come from it.
it's you know
It's like
on it.
anything else. If I, today Diana asked me, she was heading out and she had an outfit on. And she says to me, "What do you think?" And I said, "I don't like it." Right?
Yeah,
But I told her, I said, to be fair, I have the fashion sense. That's
of
probably
a
the
lemming.
word. Yeah. So, don't, but you're asking me, so I'm telling you what I think. Right. I don't that I don't do
They
that. That fake shit. Stop. Like, what are you gonna pretend for? I mean, there's a great episode of Seinfeld. Everybody should watch it. The orgasm episode. They said, well, sometimes it's enough already, and you just want to go to bed. Um, but still, don't just say it. Enough is already. I want to go to bed.
yeah. But so the thing is, with like dressing up, right? There will be times when I will get like dolled up and I'll ask Salem, "How do I look?" Sometimes I'm dressing up for him and I want him to think that I look sexy. Sometimes I'm dressing up for myself. And then if I say, "How do I look?" and he said, "I don't like it," then I go, "Okay, I don't fucking care." But if if we're going out and I want to look good specifically for him, then I trust him to tell me, "I don't like what you're wearing."
So, Mr. Deagle said, "Do I think Rand was wrong on her theory of masculinity and femininity, and that a woman should?" Yeah, I do think she was wrong. Yeah, and
Yeah,
badly so.
yeah.
But I don't like that's the. And I'm not saying you're doing this, Mr. Deagle, but there are people out there who Ayn Rand was a human being, a genius, and by the way, a woman whose philosophy, as far as I last knew, Charles too was an inherent of. But she was not God. She was still in a given context. She still had a given psychology, and she still existed at a given time. And we can't just ignore that. So
Yes.
the idea that a woman wouldn't want to be president because she needs a man to worship her, no, I don't agree with that. I don't think there's evidence for it. I think that she took her own psychology, and this is a guess on my part, but it seems to make sense, is it was her own psychology and she projected it onto others. That's what I think. And there
Even
is an episode of Seinfeld for every topic. That's very true.
even the greatest of thinkers are still products of their time, and they are still going to be influenced by what was happening in the world around them at the time. Even the most even thinkers who were visionaries, who were ahead of their time, are still products of their time. I do think that this is a discussion that we should continue because it's interesting.
Mm.
Also, can I just say something?
You
I
can.
can't imagine. I can't imagine wanting, like, preferring to have sex with a virgin because why?
Are you looking for an answer? I mean, I don't.
I I I I mean, I don't really think anybody in this audience is going to be one of those people who's like, "Oh, I want my partner
Well,
to be a virgin."
it would be a little weird. Like, I'm 50 years old. Like,
Yeah,
you
it
know what
would
I
be.
mean? I mean, like, I can kind of get it for a 16-year-old because he doesn't know. First of all, well, it's not like he understands what's going on. You know what I mean? And it's just,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the right view. I'm just saying I understand it for a young person,
So,
but so
like,
what?
when men have sex for the first time, don't you guys come in like 2 seconds? I'm just saying.
Uh, well,
For
not yeah.
like in
Yeah, when I was a
general.
teenager, yeah. I mean, look, that's one of the reasons I drank because that obviated the problem. That stopped the problem. I mean, it's a a serious thing. You drink and that you don't have that issue.
True.
But
Um,
yeah, I mean, look, I'm a teenager. Touch me the wrong way, and it might just it might happen.
you see, this is the thing. I wouldn't want to have sex with a dude who was a virgin because I don't have the patience for that. I'm sorry. And like I don't want to sleep with women who are virgins either because I don't really have the patience to teach you things. Sorry. Mr. Deagle says, I don't think that you can dismiss something because of the times you live in. You still have to give reasons. Yeah, I mean, yes,
Nobody's this, but that's not what we're. Nobody's doing that.
no.
What do you want? I mean, this to me, this is like even a serious
Mr. Mr.
thing. Let me speak on it. So the context is she wrote that I believe in the 60s, maybe the 70s, right? You're talking about before or right at the sexual revolution, right? So that's specific. She also had a specific psychology when it came to sex that you can see if you read her books. So now we ask, is this an empirically true thing? Would a woman president, would it be bad for her? Well, let me tell you this. It wouldn't be bad for me. I wouldn't mind being with a woman who was more successful than me financially or was in a higher leadership position. I wouldn't feel diminished. To me, somebody that it feels that way, that's their insecurity. That goes against the very objectivist theory of self-esteem that I have. Oh, and even for women, why would a woman need to have a guy to worship in the sense that, look, he's higher than me, he's better than me? Furthermore, why would we take the president as the highest endeavor of achievement, as the higher measure of achievement? There's so many things wrong with it. I mean, we can't really delve into it right now, but let's just say her theory is empirically false and can be proven if you just ask women. Ask women, do you have to have a man to worship? If you were more successful than the guy, would you look down on him or hate him? A woman of self-esteem wouldn't, because a woman of self-esteem would understand this guy might have self-esteem and might have powers and abilities that go in different directions. And well, never mind. I'm not going to get into that. But so it's time to wrap up. We're going to continue this discussion if everybody's okay with it. If everyone's okay
Yes.
with it, we'll continue the discussion on Monday. Deagle sent us down a tangent with this whole Mr. Two thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Deagle.
Mr. Deagle, I don't think somebody said she was. They're not saying she's wrong because of the time she's lived in. They're saying she's wrong because of the time she lived in. And what I'm saying is that we're not saying that the time she lived in proves she's wrong. We're saying it's part of an explanation for the reason why she got it wrong. But
Yes.
anyways, we will be back on Monday
To discuss the same topic
to discuss the same topic.
and and more on Mr. Deagle's question about, her living in a
Yeah,
different
we'll
time period.
discuss it all. We're going to get it all. We're going to do it all. Until then, have a great weekend and please be ethical.